So if we move on to look at health testing in particular, it's really important that we ask these people for consent for varying reasons, particularly because of for GDPR and for data protection. So I stated to her that this consultation is driven data from yourself on your current health status. It is good for your GP to be kept informed of all aspects relating to your health, and we will use all the information you have provided to put in place some solutions for you to improve your health. So I asked if she can confirm that all of the information she had provided up till then was true and accurate. She said yes. Do you consent to having yourself weighed and measured and your BMI recorded? Again, yes. Do you consent to being touched from the rib cage down to administer the hip to waist ratio test? She said yes. And do you consent to this data being shared with your GP or your specialist if any anomalies are found or there is reason to? She said yes. If we do find either now during these consultations or once she started exercise, particular difficulties or areas that we believe are big concerns, it's really helpful for us to get in touch with the GP if these things do need correcting in a way that we can't help with. So first of all, we looked at checking her heart rate. So in an ideal world, we would use a heart rate monitor to give us a really accurate result for this, but at the moment we don't have access to these sorts of equipment. I worked out through using a pulse and timing for 60 seconds, her resting heart rate at that time was 74 beats per minute. And from the data in the chart, we can see that the average resting heart rate for a 48-year-old woman is between 74 and 77 beats per minute. So she is on average. She's at the bottom of the average, which means she's sort of basically in the good category, which is really good, not a concern at all really for us. In the data in the graph down here, we can see that so she was sort of on average, not quite excellent, but we wouldn't really expect that from someone that isn't exercising regularly, fitting into this column here. No means for concern, but we would expect really that as regular exercise increases, her resting heart rate probably would decrease. We would probably see this from her. So then to work out the BMI, we need to take somebody's height and weight, which at the moment we again don't have proper full access to, but we know we could measure how tall she was using a tape measure and a set of scales to work out how much she weighed. So we can calculate her BMI coming out at 30.2, which does put her in the obese category here, where my box is outlined. However, you can see if orange is obese, she's not sort of reaching the top ends of this category at all. She's only just in here, meaning her weight is probably very, very salvageable. She can easily end up in this overweight category very quickly, and then slowly bringing it back down to the healthy category. These are the data we're looking at here. So normal being between 18 and 24, and she's at 30.2. So she was 5'6", so which obviously lines up here, weighing around about 85 kilograms ish. So then we measured her waist to hip ratio. Again, we checked that this was all through consent, like I've previously asked. Using a tape measure, we can work out she was about 38 inches around the smallest part of her waist and 48 inches around her hips. This works out, so these numbers then divide by each other to give us a waist hip ratio of 0.79. So this is a table here, not particularly specific, it doesn't give us ages or anything, but for females we can see here in the data that she does, with 0.79, just squeeze into this good category here, almost on average. She's not at all at risk with this difference. meaning she is sort of well proportioned in a way of sort of putting it. We would look at decreasing this, but not in a way that we are heavily concerned, like we more so are with her BMI. Moving on, we can see whether these sorts of things we're looking at are considered constants or choices. So constants are things that are completely out of our client's control. She has no control over them whatsoever. These are things like gender, genes, age, and ethnicity. Absolutely nothing she can do about these. However, there are many sort of health and life choices she can make to have a healthier heart and live a healthier lifestyle. So these are things like blood pressure, exercise amounts and exercise levels, good or bad cholesterol, alcohol intake, and whether or not she's smoking. So these are sort of information we can gather and work to improve, really. So looking overall at the data we have concluded from all of this, looking at an evaluation of her resting heart rate. So her resting heart rate is 74 beats per minute, which is in the average for her age range, which is a strength as far as we're concerned. Areas for improvement, if we could decrease this number by even just 1 beat per minute, it would lower her into the good category. However, if we did look at the what her Apple Watch readings was giving us, she is sort of a bit lower than this regularly anyway. She could have been up due to stress on the day, coming to see us, sort of partial nerves, anything like that. And often people's heart rate increases when they know their heart rate is being taken, but still ideally we would look to decrease this slightly. So by lowering her resting heart rate, this will have a knock-on effect with her lower working heart rate, and her body won't be working as hard to pump this blood around her body. It won't be under excessive stress or strain to try and get this going. So looking at her BMI, we worked out that her BMI is 30.2, which is only just in this obese category, like I've mentioned already, but it wouldn't take long for us to be brought down into the overweight category. So for us, this is a strength, really. It's not sort of highly of our concern, and we know that this is easily savable by varying things like food and exercise levels. So as sort of linking into this, areas for improvement is that it is, although it is only just, it is still in this obese category. So it is a need that this needs to be brought down. You can't continue to ignore this trope any longer. So looking at the evaluation of the waist to hip ratio, it was 0.79, which does land her in the good category, which is a really positive thing for us. And once her BMI is down, hopefully she'll lose weight, and her waist to hip ratio will then shrink with this for us. We would like to see that. We wouldn't really target specifically at her waist to hip ratio at the moment, but as soon as she's lost this weight in her abdominal area, which is where she will have been gaining this weight through eating the sugars and the saturated fats, if we stop eating these sorts of things, this should immediately go down. However, if we were to leave this and it were to get any higher, it will put her bones under stress, which is something we really don't want, especially as people get older. This can be very dangerous for them. Looking at her goals, which we spoke about right at the start, she has achievable goals. She's not looking to lose, 7 stone in the next 6 months. Her current lifestyle doesn't completely need to be adapted. It's just about finding something she enjoys and the motivation and fitting it around when she works and her kids and everything else, really. Our main area for improvement when looking at her goals is her mindset and her motivation. She's not particularly excited about getting going. She knows this is something she needs to do. Looking at the evaluation of her physical health, the physical activity she takes part in, it's a good thing that she walks regularly and she enjoys these walks and enjoys physical activity. So although motivation levels will be low, once she gets back into exercise and she starts enjoying it again, she will start to want to take part in more rather than feeling like she has to take part in more. Our main areas for improvement that we're looking at is that she sits down at work, which won't help her total daily energy expenditure. She won't be burning as many as many calories as we would like to see. She's probably taking in far more calories than she is burning. We would look to get her to start exercising more often, even if it's for shorter periods of time. Just sort of a 30-minute walk after work would be a good start to this sort of thing, and having a more positive mindset about other types of fitness rather than sort of thinking, oh God, I've got to go to the gym, thinking, okay, well, I'm going to the gym and I'm going to take part in a step aerobics class or a cycling class sort of thing. Looking at her nutrition as well, which she's spoken about. Strengths in this is that she doesn't eat ready meals, which is a really good thing. She doesn't eat many takeaways, which are often the downfall of lots of people who are overweight. And her weight is also steady, with not seeing massive fluctuations, which stops us being quite so concerned about what she's putting in her body. We'd like to see her eat more chicken or fish rather than just red meat, not reed meat. So these types of, chicken and fish, full of sort of omega-3 and better nutrients. They're not as heavy on the heart and on the cholesterol. So we would look to ask her to sort of meal prep, because she isn't meal prepping at the moment. She's eating for convenience. So she's eating packet mixes and things out of jars and out of tins because they just take less time and she doesn't have to think about them. We'd also look to lower the calories that she's intaking at the moment. She wasn't particularly sure on how many calories she intakes, but looking at the fact that she eats 3 meals a day, she snacks in between, and she eats a fair amount of sugar and saturated fats, this will be much higher than it should be for a woman who should really only be having about 2,000, sort of 1,600 to 2,000 calories a day. Look at her lifestyle though. She's never smoked, which is a really positive thing for us to see. And she's not always been stressed. She's not sort of diagnosed with anxieties or anything. She's just become more stressed in the last year due to varying reasons. And she's always enjoyed an active lifestyle, which is good for us to know. She does, however, need more restful sleep. She needs to increase the amount she sleeps as well, but particularly she needs to rest. She also appears to be consuming a lot of alcohol, which we can put down to stress. And she is overindulging when she's drinking. She's not just really having a few glasses. More often than not, she's having, say, a bottle rather than 2 glasses. And looking at physical health, we can see that her average resting heart rate is quite good, something we'd like to see, and she's a good waist to hip ratio. Nothing there we were particularly concerned about. However, we would like her to be more, she would like to be more active, but she lacks the time and the energy, which we can sort of put down to probably an excuse in the fact that she's got no motivation and she therefore can't be bothered. We would also really like to see her overcome this fatigue, which we do know that she struggles with. She does take iron supplements often to bring up her iron levels, which we would really sort of rather she didn't. And if she was getting better sleep, she would also be less tired. Her iron is really affecting her tiredness as well as the amount of sleep she's getting.